Hey everybody, Amy Sandstrom here. I'm super excited to go live on YouTube. I have never done this before, so I'm a little bit nervous. Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something. I have no idea if that's even possible, but if it is and you're watching, thank you so much for watching, first of all. If you feel so inclined and you like what I'm doing, you can share. I always love shares. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Today, pretty much everything I'm gonna be using is LimeLight by Alcone. The primer and finish sprays, Botanical foundation concealer are some of my everyday favorites. They just give you a flawless look without looking too cakey or feeling heavy, and it just is really, it's good for the skin too because it's non-comedogenic, so it's not going to cause any acne or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and this is uncut, totally live. And so if you catch any bloopers or anything crazy happening in the background, I apologize ahead of time, but this is live, right? Okay, so that's our first base primer spray. And you always want to use a primer. I know makeup artists definitely always use a primer on their clients, but this is an oil-free superfine mist. And our first base makeup primer is made by a pretty well-known company, or very well-known company within the professional industry. Um, if you are kind of a hobbyist with makeup, you might not know of the company, but the company is called Scandinavia. It's highly regarded in the makeup community. So they make the primer and finish sprays for us. They also came out with something called Oil Strike, which is actually not this particular bottle, but it looks similar and it's gray. Oil Strike is for a finish spray that's going to set your makeup and make it last for up to 16 hours. And that is for people like myself who tend to get a little bit more oily throughout the day, to keep it more matte looking. And it's temperature controlled, so the warmer you get and your temperature fluctuates, you know, when you get a little bit of those sweats or whatever, your makeup's not going to melt off your face. So that is what it's for, and you definitely want a primer and finish spray. All right, so I've already cleansed, moisturized my face, so now I'm going to move on to my foundation, which I'm gonna do first. You can do your eyes first if you prefer, or you can do your base face and foundation first. It's just your personal preference. Whatever you think works best for you. If you're someone who tends to experience a lot of fallout with your eye makeup, maybe you want to do your eyes first and use some prep pads or eye shadow pads. They're these little sticky things that look like half circles, and they stick under your eye so nothing falls on it. But I typically don't have any fallout with my eyeshadows that I use, so I'm just going to go ahead and get in with my face. Alright, so today I'm going to be using my Botanical foundation in Shinto 2 and a little bit of Shinto 1. And you might think, well, why are you going to use two foundations? And the answer is really simple, because not everybody's skin tone is going to be exactly one specific shade. A lot of times, and you will experience this with professional makeup artists, a lot of times when they're working on their clients, everybody's skin tone is different, and they might need a little bit of a different foundation shade. So not everybody is going to be, you know, a Shinto 2 or a Gina Beige exactly. You might need to mix a couple of them. And you might be thinking, well, that's not very economical or purse friendly. Well, it's not, but if you're somebody who's really into makeup, I doubt you're going to care. And I think you're going to really appreciate mixing a couple if you can't find your perfect shade. So I just kind of warm it up on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to put some on my fingers, or on my face. And you know, like, you don't want yucky hands when you're doing your makeup, and you certainly don't want yucky hands when you're doing someone else's makeup. So make sure your hands are clean, for goodness sake, because you don't want to spread germs and dirt and bacteria to your skin. So I'm kind of putting it all over my face, and then I'll show you how I kind of go in and highlight. And I'm using my foundation brush. This is a LimeLight number 4 brush. It's foundation, but you can use this, or you can use a blending bud, which I would typically use because it's kind of my favorite. But I have 2 of them and they're both dirty right now and I'm bad, so I really need to get those washed before I use them anymore. So the foundation brush is super precise, but if you're wanting to blend a couple shades, you probably want to just grab a blending bud and not just use the one shade or the one brush. Okay. So I'm getting a nice base laid down. Now this gets tiring to me. I don't know why. Call it lazy. But I don't feel like I'm getting all the coverage that I want with that. Not because it's not going to do good coverage, but just because it's so small that I want it to get done faster. So what I'm gonna do is grab a bigger buffing brush, and this is a Real Techniques Fun Colors, and I'm going to pick up a little bit more and start buffing it in. Now this is a buffer brush. You can use this for powder, you can use it for cream or liquid foundations. And I'm not getting super up in my eye under here. I'm going to leave a little bit natural just to give it, because I kind of like that natural look, and I learned that from a professional makeup artist. And P.S. I am not a professional licensed makeup artist. I am just somebody who loves makeup, who loves kind of getting dolled up and feeling beautiful. So what I say is not by any means the only way to do things. It's just the way that I like to do them. So got like a hair or something on my nail. Alright, so now that I have just a nice base going on, I'm going to go in, I'm scrunching my hair, scrunch, okay. I'm going to go in with my Lightening Brightening Concealer and then a little bit of cream concealer, and just a very tiny bit because I am going to use it just for a slight, very light contour. And this is my number 2 concealer and number 6, and these are waterproof, guys. So if you're like me and you're a sweaty mama, then you're going to want to grab these concealers because they are perfect for summer and sweatiness. So I'm going to grab a concealer brush, but again, you don't have to. You can use your fingers or a blending bud or whatever you prefer. So I'm just going to start to tap this in down the edge of the nose. And immediately you can see, and tell me if you see it too, I could see it, how much brighter this eye, this side looks than this side. And that's just the tiniest amount of concealer. Hair, like hair, always. The story of my life is hair everywhere. Alright, so now I'm going to start over here, do the same thing. Blip, 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 blip. Down the nose. Now this concealer, like I said, it's waterproof, and all of our product, or a lot of our products, I should not say all, but a lot of our products are made by vendors who have been in the cosmetics professional industry, providing the best quality cosmetics to professional licensed makeup artists. So if you're somebody who's very familiar with brands in the makeup industry, and you want to message me and find out who makes these products, feel free to pop a comment below and I will, it's not secret information, but I can let you know. I don't always, you know, shout out the vendor because a lot of people don't care and they don't know what it is and they just want to see how it works. And that's kind of how I have always been. But if you're somebody who wants to know who makes the products, because these are pro products, you can certainly reach out to me and I will give you that information. And I'm just popping a little on my lips. I don't know why, I feel like it helps my liquid, my liner and my liquid lipstick go on and really hold. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Tarte brush like this, kind of long and really fluffy, and I'm gonna dip it in my cream brown contour, and I'm going to do a quick quick contour over here. And that's not, I'm going to blend it a little bit with a different brush, but this is just to show you that if you're not an expert and you want to keep it simple, but you still want just a little bit of definition on your cheekbone and your temple, you can do it really easily with a waterproof concealer. And that way the sweat from my temples, which, yeah, I'm afraid I have to say, I do sweat a lot. I think I said that already. The waterproof concealer is going to keep that contour in place so it's not going to run down your face like a hot mess, okay? So there, we're done. Foundation, concealer is done. So now I can close this bad boy up and we're going to move on to set the powder. Go set the foundation and concealer with some translucent pressed powder and let's see, blushes and bronzers. So here I have my white translucent powder, bronzer, highlighting blush, which is my absolute favorite in the world. It's like to die for. Like, you need this in your life. This highlighting blush, so pretty. This is peach, and this is, oh, I'm forgetting. So this is blush 3 right here, and blush 5, I believe. Okay, and I can give you names to those if you're really into it, but I can't think of the names right off the top of my head because I'm kind of like, I have a really bad memory when it comes to that stuff, so I remember faces so well, but when it comes to names, it's like, ah. Okay, so right now I'm going to take some of my setting powder, translucent. Make sure you tap that brush off, and I'm going to swipe it under the eye and on my eyelid to set that concealer I placed on there. And if you want to put a good amount on, you can bake, and the warmth of your skin is going to kind of absorb that powder really well. And that's what baking is. I'm sure you guys have seen that if you're an avid YouTube watcher. And I'm hitting all of my lighter areas with my powder, because I'm gonna go back and I even go over the contour, just a light coating, and it also helps blend that a little bit. Make sure you're getting your eyelids really well. Okay, so there we go. Just did my setting powder, translucent, and now I'm gonna move on to some blush. So blush, I'm gonna use my gorgeous blusher brush. This is a classified LimeLight by Alcone brush. It is brush number 3. And I'm feeling a little poppy today. I'm gonna use this blush 5, which is kind of this pink color. These are super duper pigmented, so careful on your brush. And make sure you're gonna tap that off because you don't want it to get too crazy. And I apply soft-handed. It's a pretty pinky blush. I really am loving that one today. And I am gonna go in with some bronzer under the blush right here. And I'm using a tapered powder brush on this one, and make sure you tap that off good. And again, really soft, light-handed, kind of in small circular motions, and then up the temple to the hairline and around. And you might need to get a little bit more. Tap it off. And see how I'm holding this on the end? It's just the lightest hold, because the tighter you hold it and the closer to the end or the head of the brush, you're going to apply more pressure. And I want it to be really light. So I'll hold it almost at the very end and get a really light application going. Okay. That feels really good, right? Weird. Okay. So now I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting blush. And for that, I'm going to use this is a setting Real Techniques brush, but I really like this one for my highlighter too. And going to do a light dusting here, and you can see that. Get that nice, soft sheen. Gorgeous. I love it. You want it in the center right here, maybe a little down your nose, Cupid's bow, upper lip, and chin. That's gorgeous. I love that. Can't go without the highlighting blush, ever. All right, last thing I'm going to show you, because I'm going to hop off here and get onto my Facebook Live. So many ways to go live these days. There's Facebook, there's Periscope, there's Instagram and YouTube. You never know. Who has time for all of these live avenues? But here we go. So I'm going to use just an eyeshadow, and you might be thinking eyeshadow for your eyebrows. So I'm just going to be using this dark brown right here. And I'm going to use that to fill in my eyebrows with my brow tamer. And I just kind of feather that over. And I'm doing this in my phone, of course. I can't see that well. And I have a couple random long ones that you can kind of see are growing up here, so I gotta keep those in check. Sorry, you guys, I'm getting all up close on you. What I love about filling in your eyebrows is it really makes your eyes pop, and it frames your whole entire face and your whole entire look. And you can even control it. If you have really thin brows and you want them to be bolder, you can make them bolder. And I would recommend using a setting spray too. And that way your brows, even though it's eyeshadow, you might think like, oh, okay, well, if I wipe it, it's gonna just brush off. But if you use a setting spray along with this, it's not going to budge all day, And I, you know, like I said, gross, I'm a sweater, so my eyebrows aren't gonna sweat off. It's really awesome. Not that I'm a sweater, but the brows stay in place. Well, that looks off, huh? Don't you hate that when you're doing your brows and then they look a little bit off? And those brows are never going to be twins, but if I can get them to look like sisters, then I'm happy. One brow is always just looking better than the other, I'm telling you. Never fails. And you can go back with your concealer brush, and remember there's probably a little bit on there, and you can just clean up if you feel like you went out of the lines or did something you didn't want to happen. You just go back with it. And this is why I like doing my eyes last, but everybody's different. Alright, so they still look a little bit off, right guys? I am just weirded out with my brows. Sometimes they just don't feel like they look right. So obviously you just saw that mistake. So now I need to take my brush right there. That's better. Okay guys, so that's it for me. I'm gonna hop off here, and if you feel like you want to keep watching, I'm gonna hop onto my Facebook page, okay? So look for me guys, Fresh Face by Amy, and it is Thursday, and I so appreciate you watching me today. Click subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see other videos of mine. I will see you another day. Bye. Okay.